Welcome back to our end-of-year COVID-19 special. As the Ozarks continue to reopen,
mandatory masking became a topic of conversation to slow the spread of the virus.
There's no other option to contain the disease once public health is overwhelmed. And once we do that, we lose testing capacity and we have sick healthcare workers and our system will crumble. We're left with human behavior. That's our only option to slow this down.
Despite strong pushback by some in the community.
It is not my duty to protect others. I'm against forcing people to wear masks. By all means, if you feel like you need to wear a mask, I'm all for it.
It's a 99% recovery rate. The 1% is horrific. Of course, we don't want to see anyone die. But let's get our stats correct before we start forcing a mandate on the people of Springfield, Missouri.
Springfield City Council passed a masking ordinance on July 13th. It has since been renewed multiple times.
10 days after the passing of the ordinance, former Springfield City Councilwoman Christy Fulnecke filed a lawsuit against the city claiming the ordinance was unconstitutional.
I know we have a big medical community here and they believe in masking, and so that's a debate for the medical community. But for citizens, the big question is, can you constitutionally mandate and make people wear a mask if they don't want to?
That lawsuit was eventually dismissed, but that didn't stop detractors from voicing their opinions on the ordinance. Dozens of people gathered outside the September 8th council meeting to protest masking as a law.
The argument you can never make is he'd have been dead except he had his seatbelt on. You know, you can never make that argument. You don't know.
I could get it tomorrow. I don't know. Any of us could get it. But I don't think the masks are doing a thing.
As summer turned to fall, Missouri Governor Mike Parson, who continued his opposition to a statewide mask ordinance, and his wife, Teresa, both tested positive for COVID-19. Teresa had mild symptoms, but the governor was asymptomatic.
The thing I would ask is for your prayers and for your thoughts for the First Lady, and as we move forward, moving this. And just again, we're both fine. Right now, we just got to take the quarantine procedures in place.
He would return to work after just over a week in isolation. Parson wasn't the only politician that contracted COVID while fighting to be reelected. Just after the first presidential debate, President Donald Trump tested positive on October 2nd.
I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out.
He was admitted to Walter Reed for treatment, but returned to the White House after a few days. First Lady Melania Trump and son Barron would also test positive. Americans would cast their vote for the next president of the country on November 3rd. Voting would look different than in years past due to the pandemic, with many opting to vote by mail, and with extra precautions taking place at polling locations.
When you pull up to your polling location, that line is going to seem longer than it actually is because people are separated by 6 feet, and we don't want people being discouraged and going home because they think it's a longer line than what it actually is.
The volume of mail-in votes caused a delay in results, but former Vice President Joe Biden was eventually named president-elect. As the weather became colder and more Missourians spent more time indoors, the state passed a grim milestone on November 6th. The state hit its 200,000th case of COVID-19.
As cases continue to mount, a ray of hope has come at the end of the year.
3, 2, 1.
The FDA approved emergency use authorization for 2 vaccines, one from Pfizer and one from Moderna. The first person to receive the vaccine in Springfield was a healthcare worker at Mercy Hospital on December 14th.
We're making history. We're part of history now. We're high risk, and so now I can feel like I'm doing even more to protect my family.
Relieved, excited, a little bit more hopeful for the future, maybe.
The Cox Health System began receiving doses of the Moderna vaccine on December the 21st.
And it's a hallelujah moment for us. It's one that's deeply emotional for me, knowing that after this hard fight, we're going to protect our employees.
On December 20th, Mitch McConnell announced Congress reached an agreement on another COVID-19 relief bill.
President Trump is pushing to increase the COVID-19 relief checks included in the bill from $600 to $2,000.
Today, Mitch McConnell blocked Democrats' efforts to immediately bring the relief checks up for a vote. He says the chamber will begin a process to address the issue soon.
We'll have more Ozarks Tonight coming up after the break.